Hi, this is Dan Caron with MemberMouse, and today I'm speaking with Luke Ward from Bass Gorilla. How you doing, Luke?
I'm doing good, Dan. Great to be on the call with you.
Awesome. I'm really excited for today's call. Luke has a very interesting site that runs on MemberMouse called Bass Gorilla, and it's about electronic music production. And he was watching some of the MemberMouse Academy stuff and reached out, and we thought it would be great to go through his site, figure out where his sticking points are and where he's seeing good traction, so that we can help bring more best practices to the MemberMouse community. So to kick this off, Luke, why don't you tell me a little bit about Bass Gorilla? Tell me, how you got started in electronic music and how you ended up starting a membership site.
Awesome. Okay. So I started getting into electronic music a long, long time ago. I'm 33 now, and I started getting into it when I was 16, so a long time ago. But ended up working in sales and specifically IT recruitment as a headhunter, and that was actually in Tokyo. But moved to Canada a couple of years ago and started Bass Gorilla just out of my passion for making electronic music, really. So the site started 2 years ago. And when it first started, it just had a few courses that I made, just teaching people how to make electronic music, like recording my screen, talking people through processes of designing sounds and whatnot. And it was actually pretty much a year ago that I decided to turn it into a membership site. So now people pay a recurring fee of $19 a month. And I've been reaching out to well-known producers who I know in my network, and paying them to produce courses and tutorial series for the site. So it's been a year, and currently it's at about 600 members almost. So
that's great.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
So tell me a little bit about the traction you're getting. 600 members is awesome. You charge, I think, a very standard price, $19 a month. Tell me about, the good traction and also a little bit about the sticking points. I mean, what, if I were to really help you, I mean, where do you want to focus?
Yeah, sure. So the traction at the moment, I think, is doing all right. I've focused a lot on split testing different landing pages and really just analyzing the email funnel. And the way that I basically create sales in this site is pretty much all down to the email marketing side of things. So I've been segmenting my list. I use Entreport, and that's tightly integrated with MemberMouse using a system called Fused app.
Yep.
And I think in terms of sales, it's confusing because I see a lot of recurring sales coming in from people every day, but on average, I think it grows by about 3 new members a day, which is not great. I mean, the site gets about 1,000 unique visitors a day, and what I'm really trying to focus on next, and what I'd really like to get your advice with, is all of the paid advertising side of things, which a lot of people can feel a bit intimidated by it first.
Yeah, well, it's great to hear that you're interested in paid advertising. I think that, like you said, it's intimidating, and a lot of people think, no, I'm not ready for that, and they think, down the road maybe, or when I have some extra money. But paid advertising, in my experience, is the most powerful and controllable way to grow your business. So it is intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. So I think you're in the right mindset for growth. I have your landing page, your homepage up right now, and I want to know a little bit, before we start talking about the sales funnel and different channels for growth. I want to know a little bit about your offer, what your core value is, how you differentiate. Obviously, you're competing with Udemy, you're competing with free videos on YouTube. How do you separate yourself, and who are your target customers?
Okay. Well, the main software, the main workstation that I use to teach with is called Ableton Live, and that's one of the most popular music workstations out there. So pretty much all of the courses and tutorials on the site are in Ableton Live, although I've been reaching out to producers that work in other workstations recently. And yes, competing with YouTube is a big problem. What I do to overcome that is just really, really focus on the quality of the content that's being delivered. And also, I started this website and I started up a podcast where I interview well-known producers. And so I have quite a lot of people in the network, and quite a lot of them teach on the side, often private lessons, just to make up some income. So when I find people that seem like they could be a good fit and could actually teach well as make great music, I always talk to them about the possibility of making a course. And so, that kind of content often doesn't exist on YouTube. You don't often see producers of that caliber teaching. So that's the way I make it unique.
Yeah, it seems like you have some very interesting courses that, just from a glance, they seem to have a lot more credibility to them. I'm not really familiar with some of these names. I enjoy kind of down-tempo type stuff. Not quite so much the dance or the dubstep stuff, but it seems like you have some really great teachers here. And I think one of the things that jumps out at me right away would be comparing, like you said, the quality of these courses against kind of the YouTube armchair expert. I've watched a lot of YouTube content on music production, and you get these guys that they're not really sharing anything that you don't know, and a lot of that content is not very compelling or well produced. So right away I think that's a great point of differentiation. I think one of the things you said was that this is for Ableton Live, or mostly for Ableton, which I don't think you're really calling out. You kind of have it in the sub headline right here, but really it's not called out anywhere else that I can see. I mean, sure, electronic music for the most part I think uses Ableton, and that may be kind of apparent to most people that are interested in this type of music. But I think you could probably get a little bit more mileage by highlighting that you are really about Ableton, because obviously electronic music is experiencing quite a bit of popularity these days, and Ableton is at the heart of that movement. So I think you could improve your conversion rates and improve your affiliation with your target market by maybe beefing up on your homepage. The fact that this is really one of the top places to learn Ableton from very well-known electronic music producers. So that would be one thing that I think stands out right away to me. Let's talk about it. One of the other things on your homepage, I'm looking at your courses. You have a row of 4, and then you have a row of 3 more. I think, and then when I click the Browse Courses button, I see that there are more courses. Composition, there are different genres. I think you're doing yourself a little bit of a disservice by not maybe showing a few more courses on your homepage, because when you run out of this last row, it runs out and there's kind of this open white space. It makes me feel like, oh, this site doesn't really have all that much content. When you do, you have a lot more content behind the scenes, but when I see that you can't fill out the row, I kind of think, oh, it's probably just a few courses. And I think what you want to always strive for is demonstrating that there's a lot here. There's a lot of meat, and this is something of of substance to join. So that would be another thing that I would that I would say. Let's talk about the premise of your hero section here. The only place you need to supercharge your electronic music production skills. I like the headline. I like the screenshot. I think that's great. I like your bullet points. I think those are great. What do you want to learn today? It's kind of an interesting premise here that you want me to search. So let me type in songwriting. Okay, courses, songwriting secrets. So I click on the result. I'm brought to the songwriting secrets course page.
Right.
And I'm looking at, I guess it looks like a Vimeo video with.
So the idea behind this was that, actually, I just need to explain. I've just had this homepage go live yesterday. So,
oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, so there will be a lot more courses put on there, but I definitely agree with you, and I appreciate you mentioning that point. I'm getting a plugin made that's going to actually record all of the queries that people are typing into that search bar, and by doing that, I'll know over time where the biggest demand is in terms of courses that people want to see.
Yeah, that's great.
And get those made.
That's great. That's brilliant. Okay, so I'm looking at the Songwriting Secrets landing page, course landing page. I guess the premise here is that I can join now to watch for just $19 per month.
Yeah.
Join now to watch. Join now to watch. And then I see become a member, and at the bottom I see stream all courses. Stream all courses, get unlimited 24/7 streaming access to our entire library, download all project files, safely get feedback on your music from just $19 per month. Join now to watch. Okay, so I'm going to click on the Join Now button. I like the satisfaction guarantee. And I'm brought to your Choose a Plan page. Take control of your music production skills. Sign up today and start learning. See a testimonial. Choose your plan. So I can save 25% by joining for a year. Wow, you have 487 tutorials?
That's actually the number of videos.
Videos? Wow. That's great. I mean, I didn't realize that until kind of the third click here. 128 hours of training. Maybe that's on your home page. I'll go back and check that out in a second. So I'm going to click your Join Today. Your Join Today link. Now I'm on your checkout page. Your MemberMouse checkout page.
Okay.
You get the testimonial. You have your security seal, billing details, account information. What I would say about this checkout page, I would really encourage you to move everything above the fold. You really want the checkout page to be as compact and as, I don't want to say small as possible, but you don't want any fields to be hidden. Like I have to scroll, and I have a 24-inch monitor connected to my MacBook, and I have to scroll down to see the billing zip code, the coupon field, to see the security seal, and you really want to put all that information kind of on one page. That would really help your the conversion rate on your checkout page. Otherwise, I mean, it looks good. It looks good. The complete your order button, I think I would change the color. There's a lot of kind of blue and black on this page, and I would make that kind of the Amazon orange or green, just something that sticks out, because there's the checkout using PayPal, and then you still have the become a member. In some cases, what I'll do with the checkout page is I'll kind of eliminate the header. You can still have the Bass Gorilla logo in the top left, but like how it works, pricing, articles, sign in, contact, all that stuff is irrelevant, right? You want to focus them in on the checkout page. And so I would get rid of the header. I'd get rid of all the white space below the header. It's not really white, it's kind of the light gray. And your checkout confirmation instant access, I would make that a little bit smaller because you're still taking up vertical space. And if you compressed all of that, I'm actually going to open up my browser tools here and shrink down or put display none. Display none on the header. Yeah, we can start to see that you can get all the fields on one screen. So I think that would help out quite a bit. Let me go back here. So the page before the checkout, 6 examples of the many courses you'll have access to. Many courses. I mean, I like this page. I think it could be a little bit tighter. Your 4th bullet point kind of wraps, safely get feedback on your music in the private producer community. Do you find that people are shy? Is safety kind of is that a hot button?
No, I don't think people are shy, actually. They're pretty happy to post all their tracks non-stop.
So I would reframe that. I would just say get feedback from real producers, or get feedback from well-known producers, right? Because that's a lot more appealing. It's like get feedback from legit producers. To me, that's a lot more compelling than I don't think. Maybe in the electronic community, I don't know. I don't think safety is, because you're leading with that in that sentence, and I think that I think that's doing you a disservice, right? Because you might think, well, what's the big deal, right? But every time, like when somebody's trying to buy something, as soon as you put a thought in their mind that takes them off track of what they're interested in, you're sidetracking the sales process. So one word like safely, they might think, well, I don't care. I post anything on SoundCloud, and that might, then they have that thought, right? And that one thought, then they think, oh, I'm kind of hungry, and then you've lost them, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
So you really want to make sure that that you make sure that there are no thoughts that could derail the sales process. And that would be my suggestion on removing safely. I think that there's something about this. There's something about this page. I think it could be the gray. The gray hero section. I think maybe a color or background might be, well, I don't know. It looks really good. I mean, I see a lot of membership sites, and yours looks really great. I think there is some fine tuning though. There's something that's a little bit. All right, if I go back to the join now, to the checkout page. Yeah, and on the back on the checkout page, to complete your order, it says Visa, MasterCard, and Amex in parentheses. I would remove that from that order button. I think that is a distraction. You want that to say submit order, very succinct and crisp. Visa, because you have the logos, Visa, American Express, MasterCard. You already have that information right below the billing details subheadline. So
Yeah.
there's no reason to put it on that order button. Take that out. So I'm just trying to think about this two-step process where they're choosing the plan. I think this works.
Do you think that the other option might be when they land on a course landing page that describes that course, and then they click the Become a Member button, that it could just send them straight to the checkout page instead?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. I think that would be worth testing. I would test that out for maybe 2 weeks and see how it goes. You may have you considered a free trial?
Yeah, I've actually done them before, but I got a lot of people just kind of kicking the tires and asking for refunds and things like that, saying they didn't know. They didn't know that they were going to get billed after 10 days, but I think I'm going to try it again and just make it very clear what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of repetition. I'm back on the Songwriting Secrets course page.
Okay.
It says starting from just $19 a month, and then there's the join now to watch from just $19 per month. You're kind of repeating. And
Right.
if you ever talk to somebody in conversation, and when they start repeating themselves, your brain kind of goes off the track, right? And you think, oh, they just told me that, and then you lose focus on what they were just saying, or your mind wanders, and that's throwing them off the rails a little bit. So I would remove that pricing from that call to action button, and stream all courses. Where does that take me? Okay, that takes me to the checkout page, and the course selection page, and then also the become a member. Okay, so there's a little bit of dissonance between your call to actions. I'm looking at the Songwriting Secrets course page, and I see become a member, I see join now to watch, and I see stream all courses. You're saying three different things, and you have an opportunity to repeat one call to action. Start free trial, or join now, become a member. I would probably choose join now, or get started. Join now is pretty good. Join now, join Bass Gorilla. I think join now is probably what I would go with. But you want to have that, you want it to be repeated and standard, because when I see these different call to action copy, it kind of throws me a little bit. So I would standardize that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The Songwriting Secrets landing page is one that I need to update, and the current copy that I'm using is more kind of become a member, so that's a bit different. But yeah, I do need to tidy all this up, and the point you're making is a really good one, so I need to standardize that call to action.
All right, I'm going to click on how to mix your low end. Okay, become a member. Yeah, you still have some extra copy on that button. I would remove that. Let's see. Download this course. Become a member. Yeah, I mean, do you get people just buying one-off courses for $29? Do you see that happening? Or
Yeah,
you do.
A lot of them don't want to have a recurring payment thing, so they like to buy individual courses, and then I use a one-click upsell to try and offer them a 10-day free trial if they do that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Do you think it would be better for me to not give people the option of getting an individual course for download, and just the only way they can access these is if they become a member?
Well, I don't know. It depends on the audience. It really. I think that the continuity aspect of a membership site is probably better for you as a business owner.
Yeah.
Because you can do a lot more with the lifetime value of that customer than just selling a one-off course. That would be my preference.
So if you were me, you'd probably only give people the option of becoming a member, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I just think I think that the pros outweigh the cons. It's in a lot of cases it's nice to see those sales come in. You know, the $20 download this course sales, but when you start to offer that and people say, well, I just want this one course, you're doing a disservice to yourself and a disservice to them. If you have a lot of great content, I think the member could learn more as long as you're continuing to deliver value. So, and it also starts to add another variable, because if I see, all right, well, I could just download this course and I don't have to join a membership, that's just another decision that I have to make. Whereas if it's just, oh, I just become a member and I can try this out and cancel at any time, it's just one less thing that I have to decide. You know, we all have to make a million decisions every day, and the fewer decisions that that have to be made, the better. You know, especially, I mean, you're forcing people to choose a plan. So if you think about all of the different decisions, it could be like, well, I could download the course, or I could become a member. If I become a member, I can do monthly or I can do yearly, and then I get to the checkout page. So there's quite a few, you know, forks in the road there, and it might be better. How many people choose to save 25%? Do you see people taking that up at all?
Honestly, it's really low. It's like for every monthly member, for every 20 or 25 monthly members, I probably get one yearly member.
Yeah, right. So there is an argument, right, where you're collecting more money. There will be some people that that choose that option, but you know, from the sounds of it, it seems like, you know, most of your members are choosing the $19 a month plan. So I would remove the yearly plan if I were you, and I would remove the individual course downloads. Now it becomes very simple, right? I have a decision to make. I can join today for $19 a month or not, right? And now you can kind of focus your efforts on getting people to that checkout page, you know, putting in their credit card information and joining your site, instead of putting 2 or 3 forks before that decision. I think that would standardize your checkout process in a good way, in a way that makes it easier for me to decide that, yes, I want to join Base Gorilla.
That really makes total sense. I've been really debating whether I should remove downloadable courses for months now, and after hearing you explain that really makes a lot of sense.
Well, let's talk about it. I mean, do you have a rough idea of what your lifetime customer value is?
I would estimate that the average member stays for around 8 months, so probably.
Wow.
Why is that long?
Yeah, that's high. I mean, the average for most membership sites or continuity programs, subscription programs, is about 4 months.
Wow.
So that's that's fantastic.
I could be totally wrong, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I would, because that's over $100 customer value, which means, you certainly would have an opportunity to use paid advertising to scale the site.
Yeah.
Are you taking advantage of the MemberMouse reporting at all?
I don't have the advanced reports just yet, and the main reason why is that because I'm selling these individual courses, I wouldn't get an accurate readout on the lifetime value, I think.
Yeah. So, I want to transition into kind of traction, and you expressed an interest in talking about paid advertising and doing more to kind of scale your new customer acquisition. I think that these changes that we talked about will help, because if you get 1,000 people to your site a day, that's really great. That's a lot more traffic than a lot of people get. So you have a lot of opportunity to convert that traffic into your $19 a month program. And by doing that, that's going to give you the ability to spend more money on marketing and on paid advertising. So what I always try to tell people, when you think about building and growing a membership site, there are certain priorities that you have to address first. And the most important priority is making sure that your site sells and that you're converting people into a product that is good for the customer and is good for your business. And that $19 a month continuity subscription product is great. And especially from the sounds of it, if people are sticking with you for a few months and you're making $60 to $200, that's going to give you the budget to start experimenting with paid advertising. So that's why I really talked about conversion first on the checkout page and some of the precursor pages, because getting that stuff right is a necessity to start growing your paid advertising. Because if your sales process is not fine-tuned, then when you go to spend money on paid advertising, it's not going to be profitable. So that's kind of why we spent some time here first, so that we can prepare you for paid advertising in a way that will work and in a way that is repeatable and scalable and profitable. So hopefully those changes will work out. I love the idea of the search box and tracking what courses. I think that's really, really great. I'm a big fan of learning from customers and listening from customers. I think that's the lean startup. There's a book called Running Lean, which is fantastic. It's all about experimenting and listening to customers. I think that's huge. There's another book I always recommend called The Brain Audit. It talks about speaking in terms of what the customer is thinking about and making sure that your products and your copywriting hit the mark. I think that's a fantastic book. I think your challenge in getting people to pay for your products really come down to differentiation, because there's a lot of content out there on YouTube around music production. And when I visit Bass Gorilla, what I want as a person who produces music, what I'm seeking the tips and tricks that the professionals use. I want, and of course, there's the old saying that there are no secrets, right? But, we all believe that the people at the top of their game are doing things a little bit differently. Maybe they're not secrets, but there's a workflow or a process, there's experience, there are things that you can do to really up your game in almost any field or endeavor. And when I come to Bass Gorilla and I see, okay, courses taught by leading music producers, to me that's where it starts to differentiate from the YouTube crowd and even maybe the Udemy crowd. There are some high quality courses on Udemy, but I would much rather join a site that speaks to Ableton and is taught by the best, well-known or well-regarded instructors. And I think that needs to be more front and center in your marketing on your homepage, because there's so much competition, and you need to figure out a way to concretely express that. And a lot of people struggle with this, and it comes down to, in many cases, the hero section and using imagery to correlate your value proposition with in a way that makes sense. So what I mean by that, right? Ableton Live. I think, obviously there are some trademark considerations. Maybe you could get some sort of approval from Ableton to use their logo, or to use some of their, maybe get an endorsement from them or something like that, where when I land on this, maybe there's like an Ableton push controller. This is a very cool photo with the headphones and the keyboard, but Ableton Push is a, for people not familiar with music production, it's a piece of hardware that connects to this software called Ableton that Luke is really building his membership site around. So what I'm saying is, the more you can tie this into Ableton, and the more you can tie this into professional music producers. Now, give me a few names. I mean, would there? Like I said, I'm not really that close to the electronic music industry, but are there some names that people would recognize?
Yeah, maybe with the most prominent producer is a guy called Haywire, Haywire. So
okay.
There's a course coming soon from a guy called Scope, who's a really well-respected producer. From a guy called Variant. Another one from a guy called Seamless that just came out. Seamless actually does have a huge YouTube channel. So then,
well let me stop you right there, Luke. So Haywire, Seamless. What was the other guy?
Variant. So Varien.
Okay, so Variant I see on the lower left of your course listings. Those other top producers, I don't see them anywhere on your homepage. What I would do, I would put photos of these guys on your homepage. I would put some photos of them maybe on the checkout page, or if you go to intercom.io. I'm actually going there now. Intercom is a customer service platform, and if you scroll down to their testimonial, they do a really high impact testimonial. It's from this guy named Ben Jordan, VP of Customer Experience for Envision, and it shows him sitting in front of his iMac in the office, and it gives you this very concrete feeling of, oh wow, a company like Envision that has I think they do like a testing platform, or a mobile page flow platform, something like that. You get the sense that this is an industry professional that's chosen Intercom. And in the same sense, for your homepage, you want that concrete feeling of, oh, these are courses given by known names in the industry. This isn't just some YouTube, jockey. And because that's a major differentiator of why I would pay you money instead of just surfing YouTube for free. And you have to put that front and center in a very concrete way. And you'll see that on MemberMouse. We're actually modeling our testimonials off of this intercom.io testimonial, and you'll see that on membermouse.com shortly. But I would encourage you to do the same thing. Get some really nice professional photos from these producers, and put them, maybe somewhere on the home page or on the checkout page, and bring that front and center and say, look, these are professional known producers, and you can't get this content on YouTube. You can't get this anywhere else. And that's a huge differentiation, and that'll help you increase your conversion rate.
That's a great point. I could even say in a brief synopsis of what we do on the homepage, just say, we are not YouTube tutorials.
Right. This isn't your, whatever. This isn't your sister's YouTube channel or something like that. These are the techniques used by professionals and industry. I think language like that is going to continue to further differentiate you and give credibility and authority. And you have to really, really focus on what you can do to position yourself as an authority in terms of the course production, because Udemy is doing very well, and a lot of people create Udemy courses, and obviously YouTube. So whatever you can do to make it more concrete, and concrete usually means imagery, and high quality imagery, and imagery with the right associations. A lot of people, I see them haphazardly choose images for their landing pages, or they'll do good, but they could do even better. Like I think for your hero section shot, I think I can see Ableton in the background here, maybe, right? It's a little blurry, but hell, that could be any music software. If you had Ableton up and you had a push, now it's really gonna, oh yeah, I use Ableton, great, this is awesome, this is industry professionals. It's gonna connect that much more in a much more concrete way, and it's gonna make the people that will be your best customers, because obviously a lot of your course is centered around Ableton. If you're inviting musicians that don't use that software, they're going to cancel, right? Because they might use a different piece of software, and you're going to have worse retention rates, and you'll have you won't have as high of a customer value. So again, anything you can do to get the right people in the door is going to mean more profit for your bottom line. So, well, let's jump to paid advertising now. Well, let me ask you this first. Where is most of your traffic coming from? Is it coming from YouTube?
Yeah, so I have a survey in my email funnel, and most people say they discovered me on YouTube, but Google Analytics says that almost 70% of my traffic's coming from Google.
Interesting. So, do you have pages that are indexed and are ranking?
Yeah, there's a few blog posts that get like 300-400 hits a day.
Wow, that's great. Blog posts. So you have a blog that's public?
Yeah.
I can't find that off the homepage. Is there any way I could find that?
Oh yeah, so if you type bassgorilla/category/blog, I removed some of the options on the homepage just to make people type in the search bar.
Okay. So tell me about, can you send me to a URL that somebody might land on from Google?
Yeah, definitely. The most popular one is probably the one called How to Get Your First 1,000 SoundCloud Followers. So if you even go into Google right now, google.com, and just type 1,000 SoundCloud, I think you'll find it.
1,000 SoundCloud followers.
Followers, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see. Yeah, so it's the top result in Google there of about 2.4 million.
Mm-hmm.
And this page gets probably around 400 a day.
Wow.
It's a really long blog post. Probably a bit too long, actually.
Well, I mean, what I would say right away, why don't you turn this into a course?
Wow. That's a great idea.
I mean, you have 400 people that are coming to you, coming to your page, and they want to know how to get more SoundCloud followers. So why don't you build a killer course, that really goes into depth, because it sounds like you have some great content here, and you said it's a long blog post, so clearly you have some ideas and you have some things to say about it. I would turn this into a course and try to direct people. Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of you have some comments here. Yeah, turn this into a course.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. So become a member, start learning today. So get free customized tutorials. Give me free tuts. So this, I'm seeing
A gap in the opt-in.
yeah, I'm seeing a gap, and I'm seeing this opt-in. So, I'm not going to be harsh here, Luke, but I don't even know. Get free customized tutorials. That's not. Did people actually put their email in?
I don't really know about this particular band, and I've actually asked the developer to remove this.
Okay.
He still hasn't done that.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see that as. So you have some very so what else is driving traffic in from Google besides the SoundCloud article?
Let me think about that. There's another article. Do you mind if I just go into my analytics real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I do write a lot of articles related to Ableton users.
Mm-hmm.
So how to do this in Ableton, how to do that. And what I often do is I'll make YouTube tutorials, and whenever I make one, if it's getting good traction, I'll make it a blog post as well and embed the video into the blog post so that it's just got so many words and keywords in it that it's going to get found on Google hopefully more easily.
Sure.
Site content, I think, yeah, it's under behavior, and then all pages. Oh yeah, so the top one is free VST plugins for Ableton Live.
Okay. So I'm going to type that into Google. Oh, I just got your opt-in. Get 4 free tutorials on music production. Get free sample packs, tutorial videos, discounts, and other free resources. And the picture of the gorilla. So this is not concrete. It doesn't really. It's very, very vague and very, very general. Give me the free resources. It's just super vague. I think if you're going to have like an opt-in pop-up, make it very concrete and very specific. Something like, 7 tips for electronic music production in Ableton, right? Or 7 industry secrets for electronic music production in Ableton. And then have a graphic that shows the course, and heck, you know what you could do? What I would do is I would on your SoundCloud course, what you could do is you could make that course free with a 15 or 30-day trial to Bass Gorilla. I would maybe split test that. I would split test, just having the SoundCloud course as an entry, and also having the SoundCloud course positioned as a free course if they are willing to put in their credit card for maybe a 30-day trial to Bass Gorilla.
And with the trial, would you limit the amount of access they have, or let them access everything?
I would probably let them access everything. That's just probably what I would do.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. So let's transition a little bit. I just wanted to see your free VST plugins for Ableton. See if you come up. Yeah, Bass Gorilla. Top 12 free VST plugins for Ableton. Okay. I'm seeing these plugins. Give me the free resources. Again, that's not doing you any favors. Okay, so if I ignore this this opt-in at the top of the screen, and I just really I see in your sidebar here, become a member and start learning today. And then I see this backstage pass, get 24/7 access to our entire. That to me isn't very. So think about it this way. I'm a Google searcher, and I land on this blog, and I get the SoundCloud article, or I get the plugin article, and I'm here, and I'm looking at your content, and I see this backstage pass, find out more. That's not where my head's at. I'm thinking, how do I get more followers on SoundCloud, or I'm looking for some cool plugins. I'm not really of the mindset. I'm not ready to become a member and start learning today. That's too much of a jump. That's just that bridge is not going to be crossed. So you have to figure out a way to transition somebody from plugins or thinking about SoundCloud to realizing that Bass Gorilla is a fantastic Ableton tutorial repository. So I think what you want to do is you want to redesign this banner in your sidebar. And also I would probably in your logo in Bass Gorilla, I would put a sub-headline underneath that logo that would say something like Professional Ableton Tutorials, right? Because now, at least when I land on your blog and I find this, whatever article I land on, at least when I look up and I see the Bass Gorilla logo, I can immediately, oh, this is a Professional Ableton tutorial site. Cool. Because right now I don't have that context. So you want to start giving people clues as to the context of what the Bass Gorilla brand is and what the membership site is. And in that sidebar, I would have something, maybe this is an opportunity for you to use a few different images, because your articles have quite a bit of content, right? So people are going to be scrolling. So you can use that sidebar to do more than what you're doing. And when I say more, I mean, think of the strategic things that you want people to know about Bass Gorilla. You want them to know that professional industry people teach. So we can take some of those images of the well-known producers and put those in the sidebar, with a quote from them that says, Bass Gorilla is, it's where I teach, electronic music production in Ableton. And, you could also put a few more, maybe there's another banner that says, Bass Gorilla, contains, and you can start to put some of the statistics, I think I mispronounced that, the number of courses you have, the number of hours, some of the things that you have on your checkout page. And heck, you could even feature some of the courses, right? I mean, make some banners for some of these courses, and start throwing those in the sidebar as well, so that, one of those banners, how people call out most popular blog posts? Well, you should put some of your most popular courses in rotation and create a bunch of different banners. You could even stack. I could see like small banners, not maybe not squares, because people tune those out because they think they're 300 by 250 banner ads, and there's banner blindness. But make a unique banner size that's all your own. Maybe it's something like 200 pixels high by 350 wide, kind of like a rectangle. And just put a bunch of your courses on the right and make some cool graphics. So now as I scroll down the article, one of those courses, oh, the songwriting course, yeah, that might catch my eye, and then I click on it, and now I'm at your course page, and I start to see, oh, I could get this course if I join for $19.95. So
Wow, that's awesome.
so now you can keep doing, because paid advertising is great, and we're almost at the end of the call. I want to get into it, but I want you to get more out of what you already have. I want you to get better results because you're getting a lot of traffic, and you just need to optimize a little bit more the process. And I think you're gonna start to see growth, and then it's going to be a great foundation to spend some money on some advertising. But again, it's the same process that you have to apply to paid advertising that we're doing for your existing sales process. And you have to make sure that every transition is smooth, and that every transition is interesting, credible, and very well done and very concrete. And when you learn to optimize that in a meaningful way, people talk about optimization all the time, button colors and headlines, but it's more about thinking about it from the perspective of another human being. And how would you transition from a Google search to a blog page, to wanting to learn more, to being impressed and excited, to actually putting in your credit card information and becoming a customer? And I always think it helps to think about it from, would you do this? What would excite you? And that's kind of one of the best ways to think about optimizing your sales process. And then, so once you do these changes, I think for advertising, I would probably start with AdWords. I think AdWords is one of the best places to start your foray into paid advertising. Have you done any paid stuff on AdWords or not yet?
Not myself. I did pay a company to do it for me, but nothing happened from it. It was terrible.
Yeah, I would do it yourself. I think it's a fantastic skill set to develop. There are a lot of settings inside of AdWords. I would get on a phone with a rep from Google and just ask them questions, and they will give you good advice about how to optimize the campaigns. I generally, make sure you're always setting budgets that are appropriate. Cap them where you want to cap them. Don't let Google spend all your money, because they will if you don't control it. Make sure you narrow it down to countries that are, will be willing to pay for your products. Languages, I generally narrow in a lot of cases narrow down to English. If I don't have a product that's in a different language, make sure you're excluding as much as you can. That's a good place to start from. From there, make sure that you're tracking. With your MemberMouse tracking links, you can track on two levels. There's the AFID, which is in a lot of cases I'll use say Google. So I'll append a parameter to the URL. So in this case it might be basegorilla.com $AFFID equals Google ampersand SID equals, and then I'll do a dynamic keyword insertion. And that way, when somebody checks out and becomes a member, MemberMouse will track which keyword they came in from. So now over time, you can start to see which keywords have the highest lifetime customer value. Because certain keywords may be unprofitable. If people are buying for songwriting tips and they get inside Bass Gorilla and they realize, well, this is all Ableton and I use Pro Tools or a different software, they may not stick with you. So it's easy to sometimes get fooled by which conversions you're seeing in AdWords, but if you're not analyzing it through the lens of lifetime customer value, it could be an illusion. So you want to make sure that you're tracking down to the keyword level with AdWords, and and I would say make your ad groups very narrow. So it's better to have lots of ad groups that are very tight to the keywords. Only have 3 or 4 keywords per ad group. because it's going to give you a higher quality score, which is how Google rates the relevancy of your keywords to your landing page and the ad copy that you write on Google. So keep it very narrow, and make sure that your ads, again, are very relevant to the keyword. This is kind of AdWords 101, but it's easy to gloss over that. But they are important to do. I don't know. That's kind of my AdWords 101. Were there? I imagine you probably have some other more specific questions about paid advertising.
Yeah, I just wondered what you find has been more effective for yourself in terms of sending people to an opt-in page and then email marketing to them over time, or just sending them cold traffic to a free trial page, for example.
In my experience, I've always sent people to a landing page, and I always try to get them to convert there. I've always resisted email, and a lot of people think I'm crazy, because a lot of people just assume an opt-in, an email opt-in is best, because then you can remarket to them and remarket to them. And there's truth to that, absolutely. But the problem that I find, and that I've found in the past, and the problem that I see a lot of people making, is that when you start to rely on email as your main sales process, you don't get the immediate feedback that you need to get in order to optimize your sales process. So if you're driving AdWords traffic directly to a landing page and there's no email opt-in, and you're just making a strong pitch and you're promoting your membership site, you should be able to get customers, because the customer is immediately interested in what they typed into Google, right? They're not going to be more interested a week later or two. Maybe they will be, but in 99% of the time, they're hot. They want information or solutions to what they just typed into Google. So you're catching them while they're hot and while they're interested. So in my mind, I always want to push the strongest value prop that I can by delivering them to a landing page or a sales letter, a long form sales letter. I mean, look at MemberMouse. We direct traffic off of MemberMouse from AdWords directly to a long form sales letter. And I don't ask for the opt-in up front. There are some things that we've experimented with and will continue to experiment with. I kind of like the pop-ups that come up from the lower right, or the non-intrusive stuff. I hate center of the page pop-ups. I think they should be outlawed, even though they're effective. It's just there's only so many pop-ups you can handle in a day. So I prefer the stuff in the lower right, as an email capture. I think that's good, but I find it's better to separate the signal from the noise as quickly as possible and really fine-tune your sales process to the point where you're converting people cold, and you're not relying on this crutch of having to email somebody 12 times to get that conversion. And then because once you have that conversion sales funnel in place, then once you throw email on top of it, you're going to crush it, right? Because you fine-tuned your sales process and the pages that you have to take somebody through anyway, even if you're relying on email. So I would put the email stuff secondarily to first fine-tuning the initial sales process. And to me, that's how I get the best results. Obviously, everybody has their process, but that's just my preference.
Wow, that's an interesting view. I've never really heard people explain that before, but that's cool.
Cool.
Makes a lot of sense.
All right, my man. Well, listen, it's been over an hour, and we got to wrap this up. But is there any other questions you might have?
I guess just the last question is, do you not really bother with Facebook advertising?
No, I do. I think Facebook can be very powerful. Their targeting is great. You can really target people based on their interests, and I think that Facebook can be used, can be leveraged in most businesses. I would say it's certainly worth experimenting with. I wouldn't spend too much money on it until you see a return or you see some positive benefits. But yeah, I think it's certainly worth experimenting. I think everybody should really experiment with as many channels as they can, marketing channels. Sometimes we get very myopic in our thinking, and we forget about SEO, and I'm guilty of this too. But try social, try SEO, try paid advertising, try paid blog advertising, try viral stuff, try email, try going after blogs, try going to conferences, trade shows, try a bunch of different stuff, and be agnostic as to which one you think will be the most effective, because you may find something works really well. In your case, SEO seems to be working, so I'd continue to do that while you explore the other channels.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Dan. This has been really mind-opening for me. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, Luke. Well, listen, let's stay in touch.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I'd love to hear some results over the next few months as to how you've grown. So, by all means, keep me up to date.
I will do. Thanks again.
All right, take care, Luke.
Okay, bye.